charging up this hill, you would be fired upon by at least 2 cannons. So away from the waterfront, and of course that army was likely to be from France, maybe from that French fort in Cape Breton. So we had to defend against that possible invasion. Now for that we have short grass today, which is kept nice and short by electric Roomba lawnmowers that you'll see up on the hills here. Keep an eye out for them. But back in the day we used to like an illusion, thereby obstructing your view. You wouldn't see the top of that hill there. It would look like it was all a continuous road, and you wouldn't see the pit of death coming. Look at that. It's a 14-foot drop all the way down to the bottom, 14 feet. Now it's got a pit of death, but it wouldn't actually kill you. If you fell in, you would only really break your leg, not much else. But it was designed so that an enemy army coming through would just be at the mercy of the British soldiers living inside. British soldiers would come out and broken legs, except for one of those electric Roomba lawnmowers that you see there. There's one at the crest of the hill there, and there's another one coming up right there. One of them fell in last summer and smashed into a million pieces, thereby making the only casualty ever of the pit of death. Okay, well, it's supposed to be there, but it's not there right now. It sails there, it flies there to this day. I take it down at night, I think, in the evening. She went up to that flag by purchasing a ticket, never attacked the sport. She bought that ticket legally, went up to that flag, lowered the British flag, and replaced it with her own flag. Which was, of course, 2 martini glasses on a satin background. That was her flag. She called this place Martiniville. Martiniville? Right. Interesting name. Now, because, and obviously, yeah, she was from Ontario, if you had any. Tears Wharf just along there. And that door is home to the very first bank in Halifax. Founded by a man named Dinos Collins, who was a privateer, a legal pirate. Now, as a pirate, he went out and set out to become the very first CIBC. Does anyone bank with CIBC? You bank with CIBC? Well, you're in luck. You bank with pirates. How lovely. Now, I want to say that this is going to be the best Caesar's Palace, if you guessed that already. Caesar's Palace built this. Unfortunately, they did not do as good as Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. So they went bankrupt. They went bankrupt. They come around and they balance a ball on their nose as well. No, I'm kidding, they don't do that. This here is Purdy's Wharf. There are 2 milk carton looking buildings with all the glass. They have white pillars at the base. Now when they were opened in 1985, the sun rays bounced off the water and hit those windows, magnifying and intensifying the heat inside. Now they still do that to this day, but when they were opened, the building owners did not account for any working air conditioning. Now we're going to see a Harbour Hopper go by in just a second. Make sure we say hello. Hello everyone! Hello! Now those buildings were open without any air conditioning, which made working conditions very unbearable to work in, I'm sure. Imagine working there with no air conditioning, but invented right here in Halifax. Now we're going to come up to Salty's. That's this bar or pub on the waterfront there. Now one of our fellow tour guides called Zach, he works there as a tour guide. He works here as a tour guide, but he works there as a bartender. He does not give tours of Salty's unless you really consider his wine pouring a tour, but probably not. He does say that he has a heavy hand when pouring liquor to Harbour Hopper clients, which all of you are as of today. Welcome. Now you might have to visit him before October, as he's being let go in October, and that's just because he's a terrible employee. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's just because that building's being torn down and replaced with something else in October. So very sad, but a very lovely place to go to. It's not going to be there for much longer. I made sure to go there. I've never been there before. I went last week with my girlfriend. Yes, I have one as a tour guide. How crazy is that? Yes, I have one. She lives in Canada and she's real. I'm just kidding. Right here is the Halifax Ferry Terminal. It's the longest running saltwater ferry in all of North America. It crosses from Halifax to Dartmouth in just 12 minutes in either Alderney Landing or Woodside, which is quite impressive because it started off as one man on a rowboat, and he would only take you if you were wearing your Sunday vest. And if you were not wearing your Sunday vest, he would not take you. Right here as well as the Silva, built in 1936. Oh, they're getting really closer. Good job. You made it. I was worried. And that's can you imagine it? There's a Silva built in 1936. It survived the Second World War, gets hit by that sailboat and sinks. Imagine. As you can see, they're doing a dinner cruise there. So it is open for doing dinner cruises, especially on the sunset. It's really lovely if you want to take it out around 7 p.m. It's quite lovely, and you get a few bucks off. Now this arch here that says the last steps, just on that arch. That's the point at which soldiers and sailors in World War I and World War II would embark on their voyage all the way to Europe, where they would fight the wars in Europe, World War I and World War II. They all left from that pier, and many of them would of course not return, but that's where they left from. Some of those boats that they would have gone on would have been this one, the HMCS Sackville, His or Her Majesty's Canadian ship. Sackville, named after one of the boroughs here in Halifax, the Halifax Regional Municipality, called Sackville. It is the last remaining Flower class corvette. It is one of 120. 120 of those were built. That's the last one left. The last remaining Halifax or Flower class corvette. It was fought in the Battle of the Atlantic in the Second World War. It escorted cargo ships, hunted down German U-boat submarines. It was known for its speed and agility, and it is featured in the movie Greyhound. Maybe some of you have watched that. You also get a lovely view of George's Island. The previous tour, which also was from Montreal, did not see George's Island because of all the fog that had rolled in. So you get the luckier part of the people from Montreal. You get to see George's Island. It is an island, a tiny island. It's known for its military tunnels that have been rebuilt 3 years ago, and now they're open for tours. The military used to use those from 1749 all the way to the Second World War. They were repurposed for more modern ways of warfare ever since, and now it's decommissioned. But a lovely place to go to if you're not afraid of snakes. If you are afraid of snakes, don't go. There's about, last I checked, there's about 500 garter snakes surveyed to be on that island. Up to you guys. Right, I'm going to put the tour on hold for a bit. I'm going to come around, see if you guys have any questions or want your picture taken. And if you want nothing or other, that's okay. ships here, and I'll point it out, and if you guys on this side can't see it just yet, you do not worry, we'll see it in a minute, is that smokestack right there. Oh my god, I'm actually really annoying when I get close to this speaker. How is this how you guys feel? There's red and white smokestacks all the way at the bottom there. They look like candy canes. That is where the explosion happened. The biggest man-made explosion ever recorded in history. It happened because two ships, one was from France carrying explosives, the other was from Norway carrying just simple cargo, relief. The Norwegian one called the Emo was coming this way. The French ship called the Mont Blanc was coming this way. And on that morning, those two ships hit. It was a pretty small hit, and not much really happened. There would have been a few bumps and bruises, except a fire broke out on the Mont Blanc from the metal scraping of the two ships that collided. And then sparks ignited a fire on board the Mont Blanc. It burned for 20 minutes where those smokestacks are, by the bridge. 20 minutes did that ship burn, which was plenty of time. Enough time for people from Halifax and Dartmouth to run down to the water here to see what was going on. It blessed me. They came down from their work, they came down from their house, all the way down the hills, from the Dartmouth and Halifax side, to see what was going on. Black smoke clouded the harbour, and a lot of people in this time in 1917, in the First World War, thought that we had been attacked by the Germans. But we didn't. We didn't get attacked by the Germans. It was just two ships, two Allied ships, colliding into each other. And a fire had broken out on the Mont Blanc, and it lasted for about 20